pole tu. Tunataka kujua shida iko wapi. So we just to pick up on the last time conversation where we were saying that the reasons why or what is it that hinders men from speaking. And my friend here, John Wakori, you are there, and we could hear your views. But leo tunataka tuanze na John Bosco. John Bosco atuambie what could be the reason that men and either rarely do speak whenever they have problems, or are they really scared? What could be the issue according to your side?
I've been thinking on how to reframe this question, because I think men speak. The difference might be whom are they speaking to,
Okay.
and what are they speaking about. Now, it's interesting because let's go, for example, back to the genesis of humanity. Yeah? God created man. Man as in the male. Then he put him in the Garden of Eden. Then he was alone. Yeah? No. So when man was alone, the animals were there. At the time that man was giving animals name, because that is what you read in the Bible, man was alone. So he gave them names, and the Bible says, and none was found suitable for the man, meaning he was alone. So then God looked and said, I'll make him a helper suitable for him. What am I trying to say here? That man from the beginning was alone, so he never learned to speak, because he couldn't speak to the animals. So he was alone. And that loneliness is what God saw. So when the woman came, the woman found somebody already there. So the woman had somebody to talk to. That's why they keep talking. Yeah, but man did not have somebody to talk to. So naturally men are not talking people, talking beings. Yeah. So when you say about men, why are men scared to speak, is naturally that's how they were created. So they are not people to open up and to speak. Sometimes also we look at, I was saying, as why should they speak? No, that is the reason they shouldn't speak, because they are not actually born to speak. But when the woman came, he found someone. So somebody cannot come into your house and you don't speak to them. So he started speaking. Now, when you say who does man speak to, man as a head of family is like you are the CEO of organization.
Okay.
So when there is no money, at what point should the staff know that there is no money? Not from day one.
Why?
Because you are the ultimate decision maker. So you don't create, you don't preempt like the company has the problems. I don't really understand what I'm saying. So as the CEO, by the time you are communicating to the staff that we are doing bad, it's actually very
I
bad.
want you to give me a family kind of a scenario on that perspective.
Yes,
Because
that is where I'm heading to. I
Yeah.
put it contemporary.
Okay.
You try to understand the day to day, then I move it there.
Okay.
So you are the CEO of the company. The company is struggling. The employees may not know immediately that the company is struggling. So to them it's like, mbona salary imechelewa? Watu wa sales are like, si tulifunga sale jana. Watu wa collection, we collected 6 million.
Yeah.
But they don't understand the entire framework. So they will try and get here, there, talk. Now move it to the family. When there's a problem in the family, the man cannot speak first. Because you're supposed to provide what? An assurance that all is well. When everybody else is scared, you should not be scared. Because you're supposed to provide that protection to the people. Now, if a child is scared and they run because they know dad is there. Now, try to imagine you're the husband in the house, a child runs to you and you also get scared, you also start running. Where will the child go? So men don't speak because they are supposed to provide solutions to the problems in the family. So that's why you realize by the time they're speaking, things are really bad. So you can't tell man, why didn't he speak early? Look at this unfortunate situation of the magistrate that lost her life, yeah? Definitely that man had a problem. But you can't say, why didn't the man speak? Because we don't really know what transpired. Why did he act like that? These are law enforcement. So maybe some other issues that are connected to the whole thing that triggered. So men do not speak because they're like the last line of defense in a family. Mtoto ameshindikana, bibi ameshindikana, then it goes to men. And trust me as I finish that no man would want to lead a broken relationship. So they try to mend. They try to use everything that they have within them. If you're the driver and the gear 3 is not coming in or gear 1, you don't start shouting the passengers, gear 3 imeharibika. No, you try and see, how can I do it? Can I drive with gear 1 until I reach where it can be checked? Yeah. The brake imepotea. So you try with the handbrake. Can I control the vehicle? Set handbrake inakatika hivi na usha, hey, handbrake imekatika, kila mtu akuwe tayari, tunaweza gongana, tunaweza no. So that is naturally how men are. They don't speak fast, they speak last. But trust me, they speak.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what I can say.
Okay. Let me go to John. What's your views on that as we catch up from the previous discussion that we had?
Thank you. As my colleague has said, when you go back to creation, men were not meant to be talkative or to speak a lot.
Okay.
And I want to look at it from the current perspective we are in. There is a lot of mental health issues in our families. In this culture or this tradition where men are carrying a lot simply because they are the one to provide solutions to the family problems. They're the one everybody's looking at them. They're the one to provide security. They don't want to be seen that they have issues. Even when they have them, they will be branded weak, failures in their families, in their societies, for not coming up with solutions. These things have made the man to listen so much to the inner world of who he is, other than coming out and share the problems that men are going through. Men indeed are going through a lot. Financial distress, how to provide for the family. Life is so difficult. But these men cannot sit down to discuss with you how things are bad. They are there to give you hope. Tomorrow things will change. They will wake up without even knowing where to go and get money. Knowing very well back in the house there's nothing there, but they cannot speak to their children or their better halves, telling them, you know, things are bad. He will go out with that hope because he's the head of that family. And this has made man to always listen to the inner world, to keep quiet rather than speaking it out. And we can see them even from a young boy growing up. You're being told you're a man. Why are you not told you're a woman? In other words, you're being directed. A man is somebody who should be hardened. Whenever challenges are there as a man, go head on with the challenges. And that has made the man naturally, and the way we have been brought up, to keep quiet. Yeah.
So, I mean, for how long are you keeping quiet when you look at whatever is going on, the number of depression going on? Where do we say it needs to end from here, or where do we need to have where do we change about it? Because like, I believe when you guys when you decide to start opening up, it can ease a lot of these issues that you guys go through. So the fact that, yes, John Bosco here was saying that it's more of a, it's like inborn thing that you guys have that you don't speak, you know. But I think when you find out the problem, ukijua shida, it is a one way of getting the solution. So how do we pick it up from here and say, you know, men, we need to change our strategy. We need to do things differently. John Bosco.
You see, the way I say men speak, the reason why I say men speak, a man will have someone they speak to. The problem is, just like CP Makori was saying, the world itself has problems.
Okay.
So you might be speaking to people also share the same problem. Yeah. You are there and you are going through a distress, you are going through a problem, and I think I can also say that social media has brought it so bad, because you'll find in social media people portraying very good relationships. Yeah. I have my friend here. I envy the way he posts his wife, very happy about her. Na kumbe anampost juu alimkosea, so anataka soft landing. And me on this side, I'm wondering the way these people are really a happy couple. So it becomes difficult for me to go and tell him my problems. Well, he doesn't look like he has problems. Only to go and talk to him and realize he has more problems than I had. So how do we start helping each other? So you realize that, as I said before, that no man wants to be the one that leads a broken relationship, because it means failure. When our relationship breaks, hardly do people blame the woman. Unasikia tu, huyu alishindwa kuweka mwanamke, huyu alishindwa kuisha. It hardly do they blame, even if the problem was the woman. It's like, wewe umeshindwa kuweka familia. No, by who?
The society.
Oh, who is the society?
Society, people like you. What do you mean?
You see what's happening is, a woman can, okay, let me say like this. How many single fathers that are comfortable that you know? Very few. You need to scratch your head and think about them.
Okay.
Actually, do you know any? Forget about, yes. Even the single father term does not even apply in the society.
Okay.
Single mothers apply.
Okay.
And in fact, they become like a target group, even in government circles.
Okay.
Yeah. When you talk about families and helping dysfunctional families, 90% of the time you look at the woman who has been left with the children. Who looks at the man who has been left with the children?
Where are they? Are they left?
Yes, they're not there. The reason
Are they
being,
left?
yeah?
They're not there. Yeah.
No, they're not
Okay,
there.
They're not existing. So Nashanga Mama.
And why are they not existing?
That is the
We
question.
come back to the same society. That no man would be comfortable to stay with the children and stay alone. Because the society doesn't expect you to stay like that.
Yeah.
A single mother can go over to a family gathering and happily say accepted. And say, mimi ni so and so, niko na watoto wawili, it's normal.
But it took time, even it's still not that common.
No, it took time.
It took time. Like I think it has never been that easy, even on the other side.
On which side?
The fact the women, you know, the single women and single when you're analea watoto peke yao, it's never been easy.
Yeah, do you know why it has been? Because in most cases, the men come out of the family. And the children definitely, when men are busy looking for how to get money, how to take care of the children, how to take care of her, the children are moving closer to the mother. So when something happens naturally, or even our law initially, it was like at a certain age, the mother should be left with the children because of that early attachment to the children. Now my point actually is, single mothers have been accepted in the society. Yeah?
They have been accepted.
Yes, isn't it? Because there has been a lot of focus on the girl child.
Okay.
Single fathers, do they even exist?
Single fathers?
Yes. Not like my wife died the other day. No. We had a broken marriage. I was left with the children. The wife went and remarried. I'm taking care of my children. Very few, isn't it? So, no man would want to come out and say, me, I'm a single father. Because number one, which friends are you going to hang out with? Because the women will be the first one to say, staki wa na fulani, kwa sababu atakuweka vile. You understand? But nobody will say on the other side of the woman. Because if I'm with him, and I know that he aliachwa na mke wake, my wife will tell, achana na makori, atakuharibu, alishindwa na yake. You understand? So the pressure comes from where? The very, very people want us to talk to them. Yeah? So what happens? For the sake of peace, I distance from him. Because the mood in the home, 99% of the time, is set by the woman, not the man.
The mood?
Yes.
How?
A man can come home, doesn't feel like talking. Who cares? But then you don't want to talk. The children look at you and say, Daddy had a bad day or whatever, they continue. But when the wife comes, walks in, moody, the entire mood in the house changes, including the house help and the children, and the husband will be like, what is happening to you? The children, Mami mbona nini? You understand? Because she sets the moods in the home. So the how do you call it? The man is the strategic head of the family, and the woman is the operational head of the family. So when you're talking about strategic, it's not every day. Operation is every day. So for man to be able to speak, he must be 100% sure that the person he's speaking to can provide the solution. Let me tell you something. When we were growing up, things to do with medical and psychology and ABC, they were like a calling. They were not jobs. Even a teacher was like a calling. Nowadays, we have psychologists who have gone to counseling school to learn counseling and fill their head and not their heart and mind. So they'll sit there, that they are counselors, but they have it is not in them. They're not like, I don't know if they understand what I'm saying. You just like sit there, pay some money, I'm not as a counselor. So if a man leaves and you go to talk to someone, you talk to who? That is my biggest question. But trust me, every single man has somebody they're talking to.
Okay.
Only that whatever they speak may not be in the public domain. But a woman can even decide to start speaking in a WhatsApp group.
Okay.
You can never hear a man posting their problems in a WhatsApp group of men, but a woman will do that. And people watch and say, and you're okay. How many people have you seen people posting on social media, this is my husband, sijui alifanya nini, wale watu wananikwa, hii inaitwa Kilimani or what? Wanawake wananikwa, si wanaume wananikwa. I do think men are honest, are innocent. Why do men not wanika? Iwezi anika mke wako ati mke wako anahanya. People will think wewe umeshinda kuweka bibi bwana. But when mwanamke akianika mwanamume wake anahanya, it's normal. Sasa wewe unafanyia huyu msana nini? Yeah. So there's a way the society have done it that we have accepted and put too much focus on the girl child, and you have left the boy child aside, which to me I don't think is a problem.
Okay. You don't think it's a problem?
No, it's not a problem.
Wow. Okay.
Is it a problem?
That's no problem, the fact that girl child, unasema attention analikuwa girl child.
Yes, but by who?
What do you think?
You remember what he said? You are in a house, you have a son and a daughter. Practical example.
Yeah.
I want him to answer this.
Oh, okay.
You have a son and a daughter. Your daughter is 12 years.
Okay.
Your son is 7 years or 6. When the girl comes out amepigwa, what is your reaction? You want to know who was and deal with the guy. When your son of 7 years walks in amepigwa, what will be your reaction? Wewe ulikuwa wapi ukipigwa? It's like, why cry? Ni nani usingampiga? You know, the first impression is like you should not be bringing these problems. You should be dealing with them. And remember, this is an 11, 12-year-old girl. Amekwambia kwamba nani amenichoka ama nifanyie nini. You can literally walk out uende utafute huyo ana. Now that is how we have been. So even from the family setup itself, yeah, the child is only 6 years. My son walks in, ati daddy, nimepigwa na fulani amechukua ball yangu. Anachukua ball yako, hajaniambia arudishe hiyo ball, hata sitakuja nimchape. But you have no intention of kumchapa. You just want him to be able to fight for what belongs to him. Yeah? So at what time will this child open up and start speaking?
Do you think it's a good thing that as parents, we are doing, or it's actually maybe something we need to change?
No, naulizwa.
Yeah. You can just go to the mic.
No, I don't see that.
Okay. That question is a parenting question.
Okay.
But before I answer that, I wanted to comment what my colleague was saying in a different way. Where did it start that the man not speaking, keeping quiet? Where you can get man, especially in the Bible, is our first parents, the Adam. That's where we can see the man. Even when even when they were told not to eat the fruit, it's the woman who went first to bring it. The man was silent, and he was persuaded. When God was asking them, he said, "Is that woman?" And the woman said, "The snake." Rarely will the man speak out. He didn't even go to God to tell him that we have done what we were not supposed to do. So the man always is a quiet person. But now let me come to the African setup.
Yeah.
If you go to our grandfathers, if you look at the setup they had back then, most of our grandfathers, where we come from, they had more than one wife. They had more than one wife. Some had 3, even up to 6. And those, there are certain now what used to happen in those days, those grandfathers used to stay in their own house alone. When you have 3 wives, not that they were rotating, they used to stay in their own house. In their own house.
Okay.
They had what we call Simba, kind of, where Mzee used to stay. And all the 3, the women, they had their turns to visit Mzee.
Seriously?
That's from where I come from, that's what used to happen.
So they sleep in one...
No, you have your house there as the first woman, the second woman has the house, the third has the house, but Mzee has his own house.
So 1 week, no,
No, when you prepare your meal, you take to Mzee.
okay.
You prepare.
That's your turn now. That was your turn.
Yeah, we know, not even your time. Whenever you prepare any meal, your husband has to eat.
Sasa mposita atakula kipi aje?
Atakula na whoever comes to where Mzee stays, watoto wale watakuja pale na wageni wake watakula hiyo chakula.
Like, this is a man with 6 wives. The wives have got their own houses, yeah?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Sasa huyu si hao wote watapika chakula ama chakula inapikwa za family.
Watapika, kila mtu si atapika, atapelekea mzee wake.
Sasa mzee atakula chakula gani?
Zote zitakaa hapo, si watoto wake watakuja wa kiume wakule na wageni.
Serious? Sio ndo kuharibu chakula mtu mmoja.
In those days hakukuwa na kuharibu chakula. Now what I'm trying to look at the setup, the way the setup was. So in other words, Mzee was never in the house where the woman and the children were together. He used to stay alone and to manage his family from that, so that the issues that you have overstayed is there, you have overstayed the other house, were never there, because that's why he was so neutral in that relationship. Now, after our grandfathers, it came the generation of our fathers now. Now, the generation of our fathers, the religion came in. Now, and when the religion came in, education also came in. certain cultures, we started copying other cultures. Now it's through these cultures, and things have changed, more problems are coming into families. Families are separating, families are divorcing. But in those early days, separations and divorces was not a thing in those days. Now, because of challenges that men go through nowadays, from the generation that followed, because now that's how we get these issues of not speaking, having a lot to deal with, but you have nobody to speak to. Because when you look back, you are being told you are a man. And when you go back, you realize your father raised you as a family. How can you not raise your family? Now, you carry all this with you. It's because of the responsibilities bestowed on the current man that has made even the man to keep quiet. And the question is,
You see what's happening is, I don't want to bring another angle to what he's saying. That we have been actually influenced by the West, and yet we have remained to live in Africa. So we have the Africanism in us, and we have a society that is influenced by the Western culture. He has said something that answers a question that maybe the discussion for another day. That in the olden days, there was nothing like divorce, separation. Actually, there was even nothing like Mpango wa Kando, because men were naturally polygamous. So you can marry 2, 3, 4 wives. In fact, when he said where he's coming from, in our society, it said that a man with one wife could not be a village elder.
Wow.
And women were even were even fighting to have their co-wives. The reason being, if you are only one woman with a husband, it is like when mchoe wezi ishina wakewenza. So it's like you can't be where people are. And the man was like, mtu wa mke moja anaongea na watu nini? But because village elders, and they were actually polygamous men. So it was like if you have 3, 4 women and you are in one homestead. So it's like you're already starting not from zero, you are starting from a village, a small village in your home, and you're able to manage. So you can manage a society. So we still have that kind of thinking today, but we are being pressed by the Western culture. So if you wanted 2 women, 3, 4, you just marry. But now, you can't do that now. That is when Mpango wa Kando coming up. Why did our fathers, they never had? Why? Because the society, we are Africans.
But you're not there. How do you know that they never?
I was there.
Where?
When they were born. You know, I was born, some of us were born before independence. We are not talking about 18s. We are talking about at the time of, it's called what? Civilization started in the 80s. In the 70s and 60s, there was nothing like that. Yeah. So those who were born in the 90s are the people who are struggling to understand what you're talking about.
So you mean that you guys have been
So what is happening is the man was predominantly a state person. Yeah, that's why he's saying rightfully. You see, Mali umetoka peke yake everywhere. You have your 3 wives in the same homestead, and the man was still having his own state house, where he would sleep, where he would receive his guest, because it was believed that in that place you could think, you could have a time for reflection, you could have time to think about, you could receive your guest, you could talk without mara watoto wamepita hapa, mke amekuita. Even if you read in the Bible, in the story of Esther, even the women were not allowed to go to the palace. So when Esther had a serious problem of her people being humiliated, she said that I know it is not right, but I will risk my life to go to the palace to talk to the king, because this guy wants to finish us. So even in the Bible it was like that. So wazungu hawezi kuja watuambia kwamba now this is what it is. No. Old Testament borrows heavily from the African culture. It is in Esther, the book of Esther. Yes.
Okay.
Women were not allowed to go where the king was. But they were the queen. She was the queen. So that thing was inherited from the African culture.
So unataka kusema tumekuwa colonized in every
Yes, we have been
angle.
colonized in every angle. We have been put things. We are talking about society, about modernization or what. No,
Unataka yani tuseme
those are just nonsense. Because they don't. Yeah.
oh my goodness.
So we have to
Okay.
go back and look at why, if you talk about why men rarely speak, we have to dig deep and say, like
Yeah.
he's saying, how have we, I like the way he put it, let's look back and see where it started until it reached here. So if you are having a king
Yeah.
that was in the Bible and a very prominent guy having his own palace, women are not supposed to go there. Did you know even the mosquito wanawake waendi?
Huh? Mosque.
Yeah. You know that?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
And
Why?
I don't know. I'm not
A story for another day. So we are trying just to tell you that this westernization has spoiled everything. Yeah. So you realize that men had a place in the society whereby they were meant to protect the home. In early days of African child, it's like you marry a woman, unampatia shamba yake, na unaambia kwamba hapo ndio utafanya nini. Men were not even going to the gardens. Men walikuwa wawindaji. Na vile walikuwa wanawinda wanyama, ndio bado wanawinda hao wanatembea kwa mguu miwili. Sijui kama umeelewa. Men are hunters.
Yeah, okay.
That's what they used to do.
Okay.
So when you say that men do not speak, they are not meant to speak, literally, from creation. He gives you an example of Adam and Eve. When God came there, why did the devil, the serpent, go to the woman and not the man? Because the woman would speak, and he knows very well, for me to get that man, the commandment was given to the man.
Okay.
And the information was passed as it's called what, a reported speech to the woman. So she had no original version. So it was a safe haven for him to land.
Okay.
So akaenda kamuuliza, Mungu alisema? Did God really say? And because the woman didn't think it was something, because the man might have not communicated well, so akasema, Mungu alisema, tusikule, hata kuguza tusiguze. Mungu hakusema msiguze.
Yeah, aliongezea sasa.
Walianza kuongea wakati huo. So he might have been speaking since the days of Garden of Eden. Because hakuambiwa wasiguse, waliambiwa tu wasikule.
Nasikule akasema.
Akaambia uongo. Unajua ile interaction with the devil na wakaongea hivi, mambo mengi, the Bible says, in the multitude of many words, sin abounds.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, so aliongea mambo mengi hadi sasa akaambia pana, Mungu anajua sikule moja tu hivi utakuwa kama yeye. Akasema, wow. This food ni kitu mzuri hivi, akaambia onja kidogo. Now if you look at the biblical context, when Eve tasted the fruit, their eyes never opened.
Okay.
Why? Because the commandment was given to Adam, not Eve. So when Eve carried the fruit to Adam, their eyes did not open. So if Adam had refused to eat the fruit at that point, they would not be thrown out of Garden of Eden, because the commandment was given to the man. So why do you want man to speak? To who? To the same person that took a fruit from the...
But, you know, okay, well, you know, when we start talking about, it brings a lot of questions. But now we have evolved a lot of
Ask the
things.
question.
We have evolved. A lot of things have happened. We are living in another current world, or, you know, a lot has changed. How do we pick up ourselves? Or do
Who changed them?
Who changed them?
Westernization. Our culture has not changed. That's why we still pay dowry. Okay, let's start saying that. Let women also pay dowry. What will they say? They'll be up in arms.
We shall pay. We shall pay.
We are still living in Africa. We still practice the African culture, but we have been westernized and colonized by the Western world. Those people don't pay
Unasema
that.
sasa wanawake turudi tu ile kiculture.
Yeah? But
Even though unasema-
we are there. That's why when ukioa, does the man come to your place or you go to their place?
It depends. So,
No. Where? What does it depend on?
it
That-
depends.
wait,
Have you
Emily.
seen men who are
There's
wanaishi
no,
na-
there's no
wengine-
dependence there. When you, okay, let me say, when your husband comes to your place and when you go to your husband's place, are you treated the same?
When
Definitely
my
not.
husband come to my place,
Oshago kwenu,
Yes.
bwana wako amekuja, na wewe uende kwa oshago ya bwana wako, mtakutitiwa the same.
okay, yes, you do.
Will you be treated the same? Why?
What could be the difference?
A woman will easily fit because that is where you are married, that's where you belong. She will go to the kitchen, she will do what she will. But the man akikuja kwa kina msichana, hata kusalimia mother-in-law, there's a way you relate. You are a son-in-law. You're not supposed to.
Nowadays, son-in-law, they are like kids
Where?
to the other parents.
In town, are not even 100%. Your husband cannot feel free aende kwa baba yako na alale huko.
Anini? Haki una overthink.
Maybe you put
I want to put the different. What he's saying is true. The majority of cultures, if I go to my mother-in-law, I cannot sleep where that place. I cannot. Respect dictates. It's about our culture and our respect. Even no. You can't. Even eating, there's a food. The other foods you cannot even eat there. And leave alone there. I know another culture. There is another. Is it from Western? They don't even shake hands.
yes, unafanya hivi. Mother-in-law.
You don't shake hands. That respect has to be maintained. That was the culture. And the whole purpose, it was about respect. Now, there is something you said, how do we pick? Yes, things have changed, the world has changed, here we are. Now, challenges started coming in. As my friend said, we are practicing both. At times we try to practice the religion, the so-called the Western, and again, the culture part of it is with us. That thing has made the family to be so complicated. Now, as we said, the tendency of a man was to be alone. He wanted to have certain time, that quality time, staying alone, and sometimes doing maybe praying to God, to the ancestors, talking to the ancestors. But we are in a family. You are in the same bed. You are sharing the house. Are you getting it? You are sharing everything.
The bathroom.
Now, since you are sharing everything, and all this starts inside that house, a lot of these challenges. That's why you're seeing people shooting each other, killing each other. That mental health we were talking starts in the house.
You mean sharing a bed is also a thing that you guys, by culture-wise, it's kind of evolved, but it's supposed to be different.
Okay, well, sharing a bed, it's okay. As we said, we looked at the old man. Those old days, they used to sleep alone.
Yes.
When they are sleeping alone, they have quality time to think about the family, to think about the next move they are making. The current one, that time is not there for man to be alone. And
You know, we are going down into another period. When you're saying the man, okay, apart from the quality time he had, and the time, these wives, they were only coming there for mating, that is, mating and the intimacy.
exactly. You come and then you go. And have you ever tried to observe the lions? The male and the lioness, how they behave? You know, that is the time they will go. You will see them together, and apart from that, They're not together.
So that's how a man is more.
A male creature, kind of. The they only come together, even the lions, during that intimacy, kind of. From there, they go to hunt. They go to go look for food and everything else.
Now let's go back to this our mababu zetu ama mababa zetu kitambo. Hawakuwa wanasikia baridi because I can imagine that thing only takes 30 or 40 minutes, like 1 hour. Alafu aende, unalala peke yako na mahali kwingine kuna panga na baridi huko kwenu huko mbalimbali. Actually huko kwenu coast tunaweza elewa.
Those are modern things.
They're modern.
Because these people, even at that time, they didn't have clothes. Clothes came with the Western world. Did you know that? You don't know?
They had something like easy skin.
Yeah. But how was it done? It was only to cover in front and the back. Women did not even have brass. They only had, go to Turkana with the rest. Yes. So that is how they were. Hii baridi imekuja na inaitwa what? Hii kitu inaitwa global warming. You have destroyed the planet. So that's why you're having weather variations and all the rest. Yeah? In those days, there was no fridge, there was no electricity. When you're feeling cold, unaweka moto. You understand? There's a way we were just wired to work. Yeah? So, mambo ya baridi doesn't come, and maybe we'll have a topic for another day.
Yeah.
Men in those days, it was not a matter of 40, 30 minutes. Maybe it was less than 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
It was created for procreation, not for pleasure. Understand? So, you realize that...
John Makori is laughing.
That's why I was giving you the example of...
You're just imagining 10 minutes, yeah.
I was actually listening to... This is a hot topic. I was actually listening to somebody, I think it's a Tanzanian. I was talking about with some women on that line. He's saying that men only get excited in the 6 seconds.
Well, 6?
I'll show you that.
Okay.
Yeah, so, okay, that's not the story for today. We're talking about why men are not talking.
But it's also something that I think on the same, I also saw another one saying that it's also a medicine for high blood pressure. I don't know whether it's true.
It depends on, you see, if you look at men and women, and why the difference and everything. There are 3 aspects that makes us different. There's the issue of the nature, and expectation. Nature means how was somebody brought up.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. You meet John Orina, who was born in somewhere in the remote areas of Kisii, waking up at 5:30 in the morning to go fetch water, do family chores, then runs to school 35 kilometers away, barefooted, in a public school.
Yeah.
Then he does his class 8, he does his form 4, then he goes to University of Nairobi. Then he meets Njeri, who was born and brought up in Kilelesho. Okay, those days Kilelesho was the estate, it was not the Rundas, it was the posh estate. Who wakes up in the morning, even her panties washed by the house help. Anawekewa sausage pale kwa meza, anaoshwa, anapakwa manguo, kila kitu is ready. Akitoka hapo anawekwa kwa gari, driven to school. But when they go to university, they meet. Then they fall in love. These 2 people have totally different view of life. Understand? So people it said what? Love brings them together, but nurture and character push them apart. Because that love will be tested. Yeah. So you're here with a man who doesn't believe in being given everything. Having a woman who believes that a man should give everything becomes a problem. Now, even if you want to talk and you're the man, you'll talk to who? About what? Naturally, you'll be nurtured differently. So your background has had a very big impact on you. Same thing we are looking at in the men here. the African culture and our background has a huge impact on us, and yet we are being forced into westernization. So we are like,
Who's
actually,
forcing?
yeah?
Who's forcing you?
What do you think about the society and the lifestyle? And you are the one who said here that things have changed. Who changed them?
Yeah, but not sure.
We have not lived in the Western world. The Western has come.
Okay.
So, the Western coming, okay, that time they are reading the budget. What were they saying? It has been infiltrated by the Britons,
Yeah.
by the Western. Same thing. So we are not going there, they are coming here. So you look at nurture, the way somebody was brought up. You were brought up in a home of a polygamous father who had his own Simba, where if there was an issue, he was working as a point of reference, referrals. The mother could sort out all the problems. Ikimshinda, ndiye ana refer. Now you are marrying a woman here whereby even house girl anaripotiwa kwa baba. Atajaniwekea sausage, mbona sausage kwa, mbona hujapatia mtoto sausage? You are just misplaced. Yeah? So you look at the way you are nurtured has a lot of bearing in us. And then naturally, you don't expect a woman to reason like a man. You don't expect a man to reason like a woman. What am I trying to say? You're in a house and you quarrel with your wife, and she's like, "What? You're a whole man, you can't even reason." Yeah? And he's like, "No, I'm not reasoning like you, I'm reasoning like me. So you want me to reason like you, but I'm not you." So the only thing you can do is, can you allow that person to reason like that person? Because naturally you are different.
The web-based thing.
Yes. Try to accept it like that. Why do men want to marry fellow men? Because they are trying to see whether, can we reason the same? Because we are both men. Why you get married if you are reasoning the same? Why are people different? Why do we have some chores naturally for the woman? Naturally. Then it flows in naturally. Why do women don't want?
Natural.
Yes, they just flow in naturally.
They're not nowadays.
No,
they
they're not it. Okay, you're with your husband. Kila mtu ametoka kazi, mmeingia kwa nyumba. Even if you're on the same vehicle driving home, mkiingia kwa nyumba, where will the man go? As you get in the house at 8 p.m. Huh? No, where will the man go? Where will the man go? And where will the woman go?
Where will the man go?
Yes, where will the man go?
I normally observe young kids, 2 years, 3 years, a boy and a girl. Even when you have them in your house, you will see a baby. If she's a girl, she'll want what? Which type of toys she will want? Exactly. Watoto, Doris, watoto. With a boy? At that age, how comes they have already discovered? Who told them that these are the things you as a girl, you are supposed to play with? It comes naturally. It's not the parents. She will get glued to the things that are girlish, and she will do the things which are fightings, all those things comes.
Your son's birthday, namlete cake iko na color ya pink.
It's a big problem. Pink girl for ladies. The other thing I wanted to add, my grandmother one time told me, because she was a second wife to my grandfather, that she was the one who proposed for the third wife. Yeah. So in those days,
Wow, we are talking about the boy child. The boy child anasema kuwa wao huongea lakini nimeacha tu yao ya kuwa kuna vitu zingine tu zinaenda venye zinaenda. So we actually don't know. Wow, this is so complicated. You guys are making me, you're freezing my mind. But anyways, let's pick some comments from our viewers here. I have Priscilla, it's called Priscilla Sulugu. Anasema men need to revisit their roles because most women have become the dad and mom, or rather breadwinners in the family, because the majority of the men have refused to stand up and take up their roles. So huyo ni anaitwa Priscilla. What is your comment on that?
As we said, the Western culture and our tradition coming into play. You see now the men, for you to be called a man, you must provide the things we said, the solutions to your family, security, any solution. Actually, you are the one to lead the family. Where you see now a woman coming in is the one who is providing to the family, definitely that family will not stand and you will not be respected. The other time, last week, we were talking about a man, how a man should love the wife and how a wife should submit to the man. You can only submit if that provision the man is providing. And this thing is the one that's causing a lot of problems in our families. What I could encourage men, and we said last week, pray to God to give you money or to give you resources to feed your people. You should be the one providing. However, as we have said, the reality is there are ladies who are now breadwinners. And definitely once you wear that hat of breadwinner, that respect will never be in that family. You become like a husband now. Yeah.
So what should they do?
And this is the point where I said, how did they reach there? There could be two things. Either this guy, at the time they were meeting, some say love is a scam. You were blinded by that love. You didn't see the man in that man. You know, and this is very key. You need to look at the guy that you is going to marry you, or the woman. Are you able to see the manhood in him? And the man I'm saying, the qualities of a man is somebody who can provide. Leave alone he's very handsome. Those are the things that are really killing the families. You get attracted to the simple things, but you didn't look at it deeply. Are you seeing a man in that person you want to marry? And who is a man? I think we have explained a lot who is a man, what he's supposed to do. At the point of meeting, did you see those things?
Of course, you usually see those things. We tend to see those things.
He is providing.
We tend to think so. We tend to think so. Until when you
In
start
fact,
having-
this question,
yeah.
I was actually just thinking about it, that it should provide a discussion of its own.
Okay.
What makes a man? Because number one, man is an office. It's not a working human being. And that's why, read this question properly. That's why women have stepped in to that office, because the person that was intentionally created for that office has stepped out, and there must be a man. So the office was meant for a male human being, but the male is not there. So the female has gone in, yeah, to occupy that space. I'll quote the scripture on what he has said. Women were never created to provide. Somebody jokingly said that the time they tried to provide, they were kicked out of Eden.
What were they providing?
The woman went and looked for, it's called what? A fruit, and brought to the man. She brought the wrong fruit.
Okay.
Now, listen to this. First Timothy chapter 5 verse 8 says, "But if anyone does not provide for his own, and especially for those of his household, he has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever." The primary responsibility, what defines a man, is provision. And it is wrong, I will say this without even blinking an eye, for a woman to provide. It is wrong, it is not godly, it is not biblical. It is not even African.
Okay.
Because the man is the one to provide. Now, if you can't provide for your own family, whom do you want to provide for? What makes you a man? Because you should provide. That is basic. The Bible
Again,
says,
they're not providing because they are not able to. Maybe that's some
yes,
circumstances holding them.
I'm coming to that.
Okay.
Basically, the man must provide.
Okay.
It's like the president must run the country. But with whose money? Not his. Our president is coming to ask for taxes. But by the end of the day, he's the one shouldering the responsibility. So the man's duty is to provide for his family. Don't argue with the Bible, because there's a reason why that thing was put there. And he's saying, even if you are a pastor, a bishop, or a Christian, and you are not able to provide, you are worse than that drunkard, that robber who is providing. Umeelewa? He has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. So even God recognized that for me to recognize you as a man, what level are you providing for your family? Now, we come to the question, what if the woman has a job and the man doesn't have a job? In the first place, when you two are getting married, you should not get married at that point.
Okay.
Because you are getting in at the wrong point. If, let's say, for example, he's saying, look at the man in the man. You understand what he says? Look at the man in the man. Yes. Don't look at, he's putting a trouser, he has beard, he's a man. No. Is there a man in him that will provide, that will protect, that will be there, that can stand out and say, man, this is my family. Just get out. Is there a man in that man? Now, if you see the man in the man, then you get married to the man in the man. The outward man may not have what the natural eye can see, but there's something in him. There are people you can develop. People get opportunity differently. I know of women who have empowered their men, and they have started a business, or they have gotten a job, and they are providing. Now, is there a situation whereby you got married when the man is providing, then kazi kaisha? Somebody asked me that question, they don't know what will happen. It will not stop your duty as a man to provide. We are not saying that you go out there and buy food. We are not saying that the wife should not pay for the house. There are couples that the man has lost the job, but the children are not even aware, because the woman has stepped in to cover the man. But at the end of the day, anything that a woman gives you ni deni. Akilipa hiyo nyumba, mahali mnakaa, hata kama wewe una pesa hindi amelipa, ni deni. You will be reminded down the line that alilipa nyumba. Unaona? Mkikosana huko mbele atakwambia, sasa unaniambia mimi ndio nililipa nyumba. A man will never say like that. It is a responsibility. Yes.
Supposed to feel bad about
exactly.
That.
So anything that a woman provides, ni deni. So you ask yourself, are you able and in a position kuishi na hiyo deni for the rest of your life? But what changes is this. When the husband had money, was he providing? Yes or no? If he was not providing, then he should not use an excuse that he has no job. Provision and job are two different things. I've known of women who have given their men the money to go and pay. Because anajua huyu mtu, there's a man in him and it is his responsibility. Ni pesa hana, si provision. Na mimi niko na pesa. Note that now that he doesn't have a job, I step in. Mimi ndio mwanaume sasa. Wewe una kazi utaongea. Yes, hana pesa. Lakini he can't lack the provision. How he provides is a different story. He can provide by taking a loan. He can provide by the way you handled your wife when you had the money. So the woman has seen the money in you and anasema bwanangu hataenda na stress juu hana kazi na mimi niko na pesa. I will give him the money to provide.
Shida mkipewa mnakuta baadaye mnaanza unaanza kuona huyo mwenye amekupatia.
Then when the shida yako?
Huh?
That is a personal problem.
It's not no, I'm saying that these scenarios that Juzi, I was just talking with a friend of mine, and she was telling me, she's in a relationship. Actually, I think they're married. The man is not working, but apparently, she has been coming in to, to help the guy in so many things in terms of kumwelewa na pia kumempower on other things that they are doing. But sasa shida yake ni baada mwanaume anachukua pesa anaenda na anaharibu huko nje with other people. Sasa shida ni the moment unapeana mtu hiyo pesa, you end up using it on the wrong, or you don't even appreciate that person who's actually.
Wacha nikwambie kitu kimoja.
Huyo
Huyo mwanaume alikuwa na hiyo tabia hata before apoteze kazi. Ni pesa tu alikosa, lakini tabia iko. So pesa ikikuja tabia inaendelea. We are not talking about those kind of men. Because hawezi kuwa ameanza na hii pesa pesa hii. Hiyo ilikuwa tu tabia. Ni pesa hakukuwa nayo. So this woman is actually financing him, not financing the family. Financing him as an individual. Naendelea na ile tabia alikuwa nayo. So those are, yes, hiyo tabia huyo mtu. That's what I'm saying, that is personal problem. That is a marital issue.
Maybe it is the ego. I was looking at it on the angle of, the fact that men are providers. Na pengine hako na ule uwezo wa kuprovide. So most of the time anaona kama maybe the partner anam look down. So once he get the chance of maybe akifika pia kwenda pesa anaanza kuona huyu ni kama you became a bother, so he wants to feel stronger or.
No, you see that one now. What we're discussing should be general how it should be.
No.
There are people who are doing better. There are even women who the men are working, but kila mtu amekubali, kila mtu akona responsibility, and they're just okay with it. But we are looking at the genesis. He said before we realize where the problem is, where did we divert? Now that is a personal problem ya mtu. Kuna wanaume wako na pesa na wapatikani. Siku ile pesa imeisha ndio wanaonekana. Yes. So generally the man should be able to provide. If he's not able to provide, now if you have a woman that when you had the money, you are the man. Na yenyewe ameona kwamba huyu bwanangu wakati alikuwa na pesa na kila kitu ni kazi imekosekana. Si ati lifestyle na nini change. So the woman come in to bridge that gap, not to take over the responsibility. The problem is women come in to take over the responsibility. No.
Do we actually want to take over?
Yes. Anakuja yeye ndio sasa analipa, yeye analipa kila mtu hata nini. Yani is like and now the man. Wewe hauna kazi, hauna pesa. Keep.
Sasa unataka tulipe.
Hata kiongea hivi anasema wewe unaongea hivi nyumba unajua nani amelipa.
Na wakati mnachukua hizo responsibility, the men stop talking. They coil, they no longer remain to be men.
Because we have to show them they're not men enough.
They fear. You start talking with your friends, how he's going out, how is he not providing the house. That man will never come out to speak.
I think also we need, we revisit this one, we also need to hear the perspective of the lady at that particular time when she is providing, so that we can be able to understand. But now, being that it's your platform.
She should not provide.
I should.
In that position.
I'll give you another example.
To make money available.
You make money available
To the man, not to provide for the family.
Really? What is the difference in that?
There's a lot of
What do you
difference.
mean you make
Pesa
money
ukipewa na
available?
kampuni ya kwenda kulipa electricity bill na pesa ambayo kwa ofisi yako, kwa mfuko yako yaenda kulipa, then the same bill.
Pesa nimepewa na kampuni ya kwenda kulipa.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
The company electricity ina stima inakatwa ya kampuni.
Yes.
Sawa. Now it only needs 7,000. The company has no money. You get money from your own pocket to go and pay for the electricity. Is it the same like the company has given you 7,000 to go and pay for the electricity? The end result, the electricity is paid, but circumstances different.
So you mean that, let's assume now, I'll not use you. Let me use John. Sasa mimi nimeoleka kwa John. Okay. Now, John, job yake pengine imeenda venye imeenda. Is not able to provide at that particular time. So if there are any responsibility in the house, or if there is money that I have to give the money to John ndo afanye hizo kulipa.
Now let me answer you before John answers you. You are in a family, there are bills that the man has been taking care of, like paying the school fee, paying the house, paying all these things. You ask yourself, when the things were normal, who was removing the money to do the actual payment? Who would go to school, yeah, to pay the school fee? When the parents are required in school, who was going? Now, when the man is providing and the man has no money, that should not change, irrespective of where the money is coming from. If the man is the one who was actually going to the bank to pay school fees and take the receipt and give the child, pelekea mwalimu, it should not change. Not now that mwanaume ana pesa, sasa mwanamke anasema babako ana pesa, chukue kitu wetu nini.
Emma, if you were married to John. And I said I had an example that I wanted to give out. We said we were brought up by fathers, not daddies in those days. When I was a young boy, my mom brought me a new clothes. And my dad asked me a question when he saw me happy with it. Who bought for you that cloth? I said, it's my mom. And Dad told me, it's me who gave her the money. What he wanted me to understand, and what I want those who are listening to understand, he made me to understand anything mom has belongs to dad. So there's no way you are married and you have your own money. If you are married, the two becomes one.
But your money is your money.
In other words, what he was telling you, even if you go to pay the school fees with your money, don't show that you are the one paying. Even when I had the money, I used to give you go and pay the school fees. Why is the difference now coming in that you are paying the school fees? Even the kids have now realized it's mom who is paying the school fees. Hata shule imejulikana.
You've taken over the responsibility. That's what I was saying. How it was happening before, it should happen like that. If the husband was giving you money to pay, let it still remain that.
Kelly was, I think in our last conversation, alisema, pesa ya mwanamke achana nayo. He was very clear there.
That's what we were talking about, providing. And we are also clear, we agree with him totally that a man should provide. Even if you're working, I'm working, it's my responsibility to provide. If you support me, but let it be, it's my responsibility to provide. This idea of sharing that you pay rent, I pay this, it's not biblical. It's not the nature of you, a man, to ask the woman to pay rent or to pay certain bills. That's why we were saying, pray to God if you don't have a job or you don't have a good job, get more resources so that you do your responsibility as a man to provide. Yeah. Yes, the woman, of course, she will, with her money, she will do the beauty things, decorating the house. There are things she will do with her money. So that the men should not be following, where do you take your salary? Because this is your family. And that's why one of the panelists we were with last week said, a man is a brand name. Everybody is using his name. I'm so and so. So there's a cost that comes with it. That cost of providing. Yeah.
Wow.
Come to a man comes home with meat. Na anapatia mke apike. And the wife asks you, hii nyama umenunua wapi? What will you answer? Vipingo. Mama,
Yeah, butcher.
Yusra, butchery. Simple
Yeah.
and straight to the point. A woman comes home with the same meat, and a man asks, hii nyama umenunua wapi? The first question, nini mbaya nayo?
Tunaulizanga hivyo?
Am I lying? Kwani uipendi? It's like before, just a simple question, hii nyama umenunua wapi? Nini mbaya nayo? You'll have to do so many explanations before you are finally answered. But a man unakuja na nyama unaulizwa, hii nyama umenunua wapi? Ah, nimenunua Yusra ama Vipingo. End of story. Why? And still want man to speak? What do you want to say? We're just different.
But we need to find a balance. We need to find a balance in the sense that, okay, of course, you guys are, we have agreed that the culture have evolved, has changed. The Western has come in a big way. It's a wave now. But now, boy child ni kama hii Western culture kidogo inamlemea. So he has also to adapt to these new changes that are there.
I agree with you, and the way we have said things have changed. Now that man we were talking, in the current society we are in, rarely they are there. There are very few. Now we are speaking to the current man now. That man who wants to share bills, that's the man now we are talking. That man who doesn't provide, that's the man we are talking now, who is in the current society that we are in. There are very few who are still meant to be the men that we are talking, but now, because we have these men who want bills to be shared, we have these men who are running away from their responsibilities. They are running out and they are not talking. Reason could be why they are not talking. We said sometimes, nobody is there to listen to them. And even when they are talking, they are not talking directly. They are talking through actions. You can see somebody who wants to mute, somebody who wants to run away, and you see the red flags. He is talking. Talking doesn't mean to call you and tell you the way it is. You know, with men, rarely we tell you direct. And is it, my colleague will help me there. Even Jesus never answered the things directly. And most cases, men do not answer direct.
So are you comparing yourself?
The wisdom that was put there, I don't know. So, let's talk to these men. And these are the men who are killing themselves. The men who are not providing. They are killing themselves. They are feeling that their wives are too much on them. You are demeaning them. And the society is like, doesn't want them. Now, these are the guys, maybe these are the men we should, how do we make them to talk now? How do we encourage them?
Because I think also, we have said that we have talked about the culture of man, and now we have another man in the middle who's westernized and also cultured, But somehow, as much as there's some things we adopt on the side of the culture, that so many other things that we retain as part of us in culture that are very strong, that we still want to have them in the current situation. So, as we are talking about that, we also look on those angles. Maybe you can say something.
I think me, I'm cultural man.
Okay. 100%.
99.9. Because I'm one person that leans towards what Kelly was saying. Yes, I'm mwanamke. No man marries a woman akuja kumsaidia kulipa bill. If they exist, it is the current men that we are talking about. Hii generation isn't it? Z. Kuja ukuje tuweke pamoja tu. No man marries a woman kukuja kumsaidia kulipa bills. But majority of women marry wasaidiwe kwa maisha.
know man marries kuja kusaidiwa.
Yes.
But majority
women,
tunaolewa juu tunataka
yes,
kusaidiwa.
kusaidiwe.
Okay.
Because si at least kuna kaukweli hapo kidogo.
Kuna kaukweli.
Kaukweli.
That's why we say
Kuna kaukweli,
if you find a man from the word go, even at the planning stage of maybe you want to do a wedding,
Yeah.
and he's so much into what you are bringing, that's not a man. He's just a male.
It's Naskia
No.
from the men's.
He is a male.
He's a
not,
male.
Not
He's
the
a
man
male,
you are
not a
talking
man.
about. Because you should take. I was telling you that next time we'll discuss what makes a man. 3 things makes a man: power, authority, and responsibility.
Power, authority, and responsibility.
Yes. That is what makes a
I
man.
think most of you have the authority.
You understand?
Okay, that's fine.
If you are a man, you must have the power to influence.
Okay.
Power is the ability to influence.
Oh yeah.
No. And the authority comes from, if you get that power and you're able to influence, you have the authority. When mwanaume anaweza sema no, na watu waseme daddy amesema no.
Okay.
Understand? And responsibility comes in the context of providing. Now the reason why we're having a problem is men want to delegate responsibility but remain with power and authority. It can't work.
Thank you.
That ikikuja bills, now you want to share. Lakini ikikuja power and authority, you want to retain. How?
Hapo nakusikia.
So that's the problem you're having in the society. So if you are going to delegate responsibility, divide the authority that commensurate with that responsibility. The president cannot give you